Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Founders Grid, sponsored by Gaper.io. Today we have Jasmine. Jasmine is the founder of Round21. Jasmine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, give us a brief background about yourself before Round21. Platon, Under Armour, Reebok.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to always, be around my most passionate love, which is sports. I was a professional basketball player after college and was a coach for a few years before joining Reebok and have been in marketing ever since. I led global marketing at Hasbro for some of the most beloved board games, Monopoly, Trivial Pursuit, Scrabble, and then went back to sports and was a part of Under Armour's marketing leadership team for 6 years. And again, most recently was at Peloton for the last 2 years up until April of 2020.
So, and what was the initial plunge or the initiative or the main force behind, leaving the corporate world and starting Round21?
Well, I've always created success at the places that I've worked, and it's been fun to be a part of creating culture with brands like Peloton and Under Armour. And the real impetus was I wanted to create success with something that I felt extremely passionate about, as well as was a new market opportunity that didn't exist. And so being able to merge both the creative side of art and creativity in sport with a new way to express one's individuality is something that I've never seen in the world. And so it was an idea that turned into prototyping, that turned into what is now the beginning of a brand.
So product market fit, what have been the early days like, because this is what every founder, finding a product market fit is like a holy grail for every founder, right? So how has that experience for you been for the first 1.5 years?
So sports in general have an incredible role in society. So the platform in which Round21 is building from is very core to a lot of people's identity, how they build relationships with other people, and how they even see the world, the connection that they have to family and friends in their community. And so starting with an industry that is so important to people's lives, sport, and energizing that through artistic creativity, a sense of identity and individuality through art has immediate and in my opinion, obvious translation into product market fit. People today who enjoy recreational sports, spectator sports, and playing themselves want to express who they are. They do it through their hoodie or through their sneakers. And what remains a blank canvas is the thing that they play with. And so providing a sense of individuality on what they enjoy so much and what is core to their identity, to me, has product market fit. And now it's going to be a matter of time as I really get my legs underneath me and start to build this company, now taking the entrepreneurial leap in April to focus on it full time.
And taking a leap in April. So how has been like building a company during pandemic? How you've been able to maintain a work-life balance. Let's start with that and let's take it from step by step.
Yeah, well, I think there's something to be said about, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So it hasn't really felt like work. I think I've had a similar experience as a lot of people, which is creating, a sense of boundaries, making Saturday and Sunday feel a little different than Monday through Friday because, the environment tends to be very much the same. But I was very sensitive to the world changing around us in April when I left my VP of Global Brand role at Peloton and started from scratch. And so I was doing a lot of listening. I listened to people in my network talk about challenges they were having. I was listening to my friends group talking about situations they were facing, and increasingly play was at the center of bringing some sort of escape or some sort of normalcy for a lot of people in my network. And a lot of people in sports, particularly the NBA, were also sensing that players wanted a new voice to express what they believed in, particularly social justice. And so the first few months of me focusing on this full time personally was about listening and learning about a new marketplace but then quickly connecting the dots of how play and having a voice and expressing who you are through sport kind of manifested where sports was a platform for change, which happened to be in the NBA. And Round 21 was quickly adopted and presented as a way that NBA players could express who they are in the NBA bubble. The Lakers and the Pistons have enjoyed the individuality that the product brings their players. And so we're really building from a position of organic integration into where sports are becoming a platform for change.
Interesting. And where do you see Round 21 3 years from now?
So in 3 years, I hope that Round 21 has created a culture where if your sports products that you love to play with don't signal or say something about you, that it's almost odd. You know, the way that we express ourselves so powerfully in so many parts of our lives, I hope that Round 21 has created permission for people to express who they are with what they play with. And so my goal is that we establish that normalcy in the way that we're doing now. And by, 3 years from now, it seems like it's a must-have in sports.
Interesting. So as a founder, doing sales over Zoom, managing the company over Zoom, once we have a vaccine and the world starts going back to normal, would you still prefer being in front of the Zoom, or would you want to go back to the normal?
So, well, Round 21 is really about culture, community, and commerce. So two of those, I think, benefit from being in person, particularly culture and community. So I will look to be where people love to play. I mean, that is really at the center of what Round 21 is. So that might be on a blacktop playing basketball, that might be at a ping pong charity tournament, but Round 21 wants to be where people play. And so I look forward to balancing out where the brand shows up and where I show up when the world opens back up.
Got it. So last question, top 3 productivity hacks that you've adapted during the pandemic for you to be more efficient.
I think the 20-minute meeting is really important. Not to put 3 20-minute meetings in 1 hour, but to provide a sense of maybe 20 minutes of take your eyes off the screen, look outside, change your depth of field. I think Zoom fatigue is real. So that's one, is trying to be more effective with the ways that we communicate now. 2 is leveraging a lot of technology today that creates a more intimate but quick form of communication. So that might just be Slack or using text in a more informal way through business, but finding ways for it not to always be logging on, entering into a video communication. And then 3 is, taking advantage of being commuteless and finding ways to get a workout in during the day. As we get into the winter months, sunlight can tend to be, for some regions, a little bit less available later in the day. And so finding ways to fit a workout in, or making a conversation with a colleague over a body weight workout have been ways that I've tried to become more productive, or at least feel a sense of balance and productivity during this environment.
Jasmine, thank you so much for being on the show.
Sure.
I'm sure we could have talked for another 10 to 20 minutes easily, but my marketing team is very strict on this. I have to keep them within 5 minutes. So, thank you so much for being on the show, and take care of yourself, and all the best for Round 21.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.